Hey, what's up, my YouTube family? Okay, so I want to discuss perfectionism, and I want to discuss it just from my own point of view because I personally believe that perfectionism is a subjective perception, an individual subjective perception. And I have always struggled with perfectionism. And I think a lot of it stems from, being younger, being in school, being around other people. Whenever I did something and I wasn't good at it, people would really, really come down on me. Instead of saying, hey, nice try, just maybe try it this way next time, maybe see if it works out better. Instead of encouraging and supportive feedback, I always received negative, not just criticism, but just rude, mean, harsh criticism. It's one thing to have, it is to give constructive criticism. There's another thing when you're just plain mean to people. And that's what I always received. Oh, you suck, you're not good at that, you need to stop doing that, don't even try it, you look, that kind of thing. And I think somewhere inside I felt, okay, well, I have to be better in order for people to accept me, or for me to be acceptable in society. I have to be this particular way, which I think over time I construed that into being perfectionism, being perfect, being super good at everything you do, making sure everything's just right so nobody will have any negative thing to say. And I think that's partly where that came from for me. Well, it was warm out here. Now it's gotten chilly. So I'm sorry if I'm rubbing on everything. I'm just chilly. So I just wanted to talk about that because, like I said, I think it's a subjective, personal, unique perception, viewpoint of the world, from your individual life. And I don't think that there can ever be such thing as being perfect. And I think it's a myth. I think it's something that people that I have known, people that have vlogged about it, it's something that they're always striving to. And I'm like, well, wait a second. If everything was perfect, then there would never be room to improve or to do better or to increase your goals or to progress, or that wouldn't exist if everything was perfect. There were no problems anywhere. There was nothing. I think that would be extremely limiting, and I think it would really have a negative effect on people if things were perfect. I mean, I don't even know what that would look like. I mean, in my head, I have this picture of, as an example, everyone on Earth, okay, that is alive, that can understand this. I mean, developmentally can understand. Everything in their life is perfect. Now remember, I think that it's a subjective perception of yourself and the viewpoint of the world. So if everyone's perception of perfectionism was projected outward, I think everyone's idea of perfectionism would clash with other people's ideas of perfectionism, because not everyone thinks of perfectionism as the same thing. For a random example, okay, say in a perfect world you would want to be with this man or this woman or this person, but in another person's ideal world, perfect world, they want the same person. You can't both have the same person, so that would not work out. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's very subjective. I think it would be so messy. I think it would really, really rattle people if that was the case. It's just a random type example. But anyway, I wouldn't want everything to always be the same. I would always want to be able to improve upon whatever is already there. Sometimes we go through things and it can set us back emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever. It can set us back. And to be able to get back to that place and move past that place, you need to be able to improve and progress and, improve upon what didn't work the first time, or even if it did work, increasing it so you have more maximum positive effects. That's just me. That's just what I'm thinking, okay? Again, subjective. It's just my point of view. You don't have to agree with me, okay? I love hearing other people's points of views. But I just want to say to people who think that they have to be perfect, everything has to be perfect. No, it doesn't. It's okay if, for instance, I have a cousin, and when we were in school, she always got straight A's, okay? She was just that person. And that's great. She was doing well in school. But on one report card, she got a B. I think it was a B plus, okay? She broke down because it wasn't an A. Her whole life, her worth centered around getting perfect A's. I use the word perfect, right? Perfect, straight A's across the board, and she got a B. So in her mind, getting that B, at the time, was like getting an F. And I saw how much that tore her apart. She didn't even want to go to school. She was ashamed. And I'm like, I don't remember if I talked to her. I think I talked to her, but I just want to tell people, that's just an example. It's okay if you get a B plus. All that means, it doesn't mean that you don't know the rest of the information. It just means on this particular test that you took, maybe you didn't answer it as thoroughly as the teacher subjectively looking at your paper. Do you know what I'm saying? When you go to school and you write a story or you do something like that, it's always subjective. The person editing your papers, it's subjective. Math isn't subjective. Math is what it is. But I'm talking about when you have to write a paper, okay? You have to write a story. You have to write something that is from your imagination or whatever. It's always a subjective edit from the person doing it, because there's no one specific way to edit anything. You take something to you take it to 5 teachers, high school, college, whatever, you're going to get 5 different papers coming back to you with different suggestions and this and that. No one is going to have it the same. It's just not going to happen because it is subjective. So it is okay if there's a little room for improvement. It means that you can make more goals and try to, I guess in a better version of yourself, if you will. You keep striving, you keep going, because what's the point if we're just everything's the way it should be and nothing has to change ever? What kind of a life is that? I'm not saying that, you can't strive to be the best that you can be. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that it's okay if things aren't exactly the way that you want them to be. It's okay if you get that B plus, okay? It's okay. Your life isn't going to come to an end. And I'm sorry if people make you feel that way, because I don't understand that. But and that's just one example. There's so many examples in the world of, people trying to be perfect. And I find that if I set my bar up here on perfectionism, the fall is very hard. It's very damaging. And it can make me feel that I'm not good enough, that I'm not worthy, that I'm not I'm not cut out for something or this or that or whatever, and it brings in doubts and fears and anxiety and negativeness all around. So to me, perfectionism, being perfect, it's a myth. You always want to keep going. I mean, think about it. Let's take exercise, for example. You got people who are like really, really physically fit. They do workout videos, all this stuff. They've been doing it for years, okay? Well, if exercising made your body perfect, then once you got to that particular look that you want, if in a perfect world, you would never have to work out again because you'd be exactly what you are. But that's not what happens. They work out all the time. They continue to work out. They continue to go to, continuing education classes and teaching and all this stuff. And even a health and fitness instructor who has been a health fitness instructor, yes, even when you watch them on their DVDs and classes and whatever, you always see them making sure that they're aligned properly, their arms are in the right place, they're doing it. They're always making sure that they're improving upon it. So, yeah. So, there's another example. All right, so I hope that this was helpful. Thank you for watching this. If you struggle with perfectionism, it's okay not to be perfect. It really, really is, because nothing is perfect, okay? Be happy with who you are, and if you don't like how things are, then set a goal that helps to improve upon it, that helps you progress, that helps you go in the direction that you want to go, that makes you feel good. We're not always going to get what we want. We might have this, I'm striving for this, but I didn't quite make it. It's okay. Keep going. Just keep going. Don't ever give up, and don't think that you are a failure because you aren't perfect. There's no such thing. And don't let anyone ever try to make you feel that there is such a thing and that you have to be that, because it doesn't exist. And when people try to be that perfect, really, a lot of them are miserable. They're not happy at all. So remember that. If you're not happy, if it doesn't make you feel good, it isn't good for you. You know what I mean? It might be very negative in a stressful way. And if you have a mental illness of any kind, it can really wreak havoc with you, especially with depression and whatnot. Okay, well, my dog is barking, so I'm going to go. So thank you for watching. I hope that you can relate to this. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you guys in my next video. I love you. Take care of yourselves. Peace and love.